Hi, I am CJ Devgan, and welcome to another edition of Breaking Barriers, where my goal is to provide you with proven tools to help you transform your business. We are living in times where business, as usual, is not sustainable. Because new disruptors are arriving every day, therefore, you too must reinvent and break barriers that are holding you back. If you are struggling to grow your business, check out my website at cjdevgan.com and learn about my consulting and coaching services, and let's talk. Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Barriers. The topic for today is why managing change is a critical factor in any transformation. For our conversation today, I will move out of the corporate world and discuss transformation reforms from the Government of India perspective. As you all know, the Government of India brought in few agricultural reforms last year, which has stirred major resistance from the farmers. Now, in government's opinion, they believe that these changes will improve the lives of the farmers, whereas farmers think that this will allow big corporate houses to enter and monopolize the sector and stamp out small farmers. In my opinion, the truth is somewhere in between. Why am I expert to discuss this? I'm not an expert in the field of agriculture reforms. However, I am an expert in the field of organizational transformations and change management. I have close to 20 years of experience in successfully managing organization-wide changes because of the introduction of new processes or systems. Let me introduce my guest for today. His name is Naresh Sharma, and for full transparency, he is also my brother-in-law. We were having a call the other day, and the topic came up, and I thought it would make sense to do a show on this, as there's a lot of confusion and misinformation on this topic. Without further ado, let me ask Naresh to introduce himself.
Good morning, and
Morning.
hello everyone. Hello. Yes, my name is Naresh Sharma. I've been living in Ottawa for the last 44 years, and been having these discussions, with our friends and family, and I just wanted to just get more information on clarification on what is the deep meaning behind what all these changes. So here I am.
Awesome. Thank you, Naresh. Great to have you on. Again, at the onset, I want to re-emphasize that we are not here to take sides, but to have a healthy discussion. So go ahead, Naresh, ask your first question.
Basically, I just wanted to know, what are these reforms? What are they all about?
Okay, so whatever knowledge I have collected over last 2 months, especially the month of December and January, I did a lot of digging up into this topic, why we are having challenges. There are 3 laws that were passed by federal government of India last year. And first one was, I will read it exactly the way it is spelled out. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. Now, this is the foundational law that other 2 laws are dependent on. So all these laws are intertwined, they depend on each other, which means
law number 3 could not survive without law number 2, and law number 2 cannot survive without 1, because law number 1 is where the major reforms are happening. So this is the foundation, as I said before. In nutshell, what it means is that farmers are given choice to who they want to sell and where they want to sell their produce. I'm not sure how many people know that farmers today can only sell their produce to a dealer in their assigned market. So if I'm living in Kadia, which is my maternal ancestral place where we come from, so there must be mandi somewhere in Kadia, around Kadia, where farmers in that district can go and sell their produce. They cannot just go to Ludhiana or Jalandhar, let alone go to Kurukshetra in Haryana or Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. So they have to stay within the district. Now, for ease of simplicity, let's imagine you want to sell your house in Ottawa. Not only can you not sell your home to whoever you want, you have to sell it using a real estate agent. You must pay the real estate agent 2.5% commission. And then that real estate agent can sell to 10 wholesalers in Ottawa market who will buy it. And then those 10 resellers can sell it to whoever they want to sell. That's the kind of constraints that we have imposed on farmers. And with this law, they are trying to waive and break that shackle, and they're giving farmers freedom to go wherever they want to sell. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. It's easier to understand that way. But I guess the associated question would be like, what are the proposed benefits of these reforms?
The proposed benefits of these reforms, as I mentioned, number one, if you are a farmer and you're producing certain produce and it is in high demand in Bangalore, you can go sell it to that person in Bangalore. Or for that matter, if you have a mango orchard and you want to sell, I'm hearing some disturbance. Are you hearing disturbance on the line as well?
No.
Okay, that's gone now. All of a sudden something happened. So we have to edit it out. So going back to, if you are you have a mango orchard in Lucknow, for example, and you have amazing mangoes, and you want to sell those mangoes to someone in Bangalore, or even better, someone in Toronto, you have the right and reach out to that person. And if you don't, you can go to Craigslist and say, I have 50 tons of these beautiful Lucknow mangoes that I want to sell. Anyone interested? And people can connect with farmers. Today, they cannot post, they cannot sell. They have to go to Mandi, use a commission agent and sell it to them. So this opens the whole playing field for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But then what are the drawbacks what are the concerns for these laws?
So what I've read a lot is that this agitation is not being done by farmers, but is done by those middlemen, those commission agents. So imagine tomorrow, and we have seen this thing also in Canada, and then you're familiar a little bit with this taxi industry. So when Uber came in, it changed the playing field. The consumers don't complain with Uber there. But a lot of taxi drivers objected to it, right? And a lot of people will think these taxi drivers were out there on the roads and blocking people. But if you further peel the layer, it wasn't the taxi drivers who were complaining, because a lot of plane drivers moved from taxi and started driving Uber cars. It was the people who owned the taxis and were getting hurt because they had invested a lot of money in the taxis. So there's always, or the taxi companies itself, like Blue Line or Capital or other companies that were all of a sudden their whole business model is gone. So that, in my opinion, again, I'm no expert. There has to be a little more to it than what we are sharing here. But that's one concept, that it is more the commission agents and those markets, those mandis that will disappear. Now, that's a big concern because there are a lot of lives dependent on that mandi, that marketplace where all these farmers go every season when they cultivate their crops. Second issue that I do see is misinformation. I think communication, and I talk about that, and I will, in my future episodes, I will talk about this more, how communication and effective communication is important, and how engaging your stakeholders in the design of the new laws or new processes or new systems that you're talking about. So identifying key stakeholders, influential stakeholders, and bringing them into the design process. So I think somewhere government may have missed it, or there's some misinformation. So the misinformation is that there will be an abuse of farmers by corporate houses because there will be no mandis. So if there are no mandis where they can go sell, then they have to be at the mercy of private buyers, and those private buyers can monopolize the market and bring down the prices, which in my experience, competition is always good. Whenever we have competition, it is always good. Second drawback that is there, which I think government should have addressed it, is right now when I mentioned that there are only 10 resellers in the market that you can sell to. You cannot, even if you go to Mandi and I've come to Mandi, I cannot buy produce from you. Say, for example, you are a producer of mango and I'm a buyer in Toronto. I cannot even go to that Mandi where you are present. It has to be bought by one of the for example, 10 registered buyers in that. And the reason is that those buyers are known and they have placed some guarantees. So when farmer sells their produce, he knows he will get paid. What happens if I come in and say, okay, fine, I'm going to take these mangoes and I will pay you in 3 days or 5 days, and I then disappear. And then the poor farmer is left without. So there has to be some control who these private buyers are. Not just a PAN number is enough, because people can come up with fake PAN numbers. We know how many fraudsters are out there. So there has to be some kind of protection available for farmers from these private buyers. So there are some improvements that needs to be done. Then how the dispute resolution happens. Right now, the dispute resolution process is that it is within SDM who can, if farmer and private buyer has some dispute, you just go to SDM. SDM is a government officer. And that government officer is under influenced by the politicians of that state government. Whereas there's no recourse to go to a civil court. That's another drawback of current laws. I think that recourse should always be, because judiciary is always more independent and are independent of political pressures. So that is another drawback that I see currently. But outside of those, I don't see. Now, MSP is another concept that people are talking about.
So what is MSP again? It's like minimum wage or something different in farmers' terms?
Excellent question. We will pick this up in our next episode.
That is it for today. Thank you for listening. Let's go out and break barriers and generate new possibilities. Please be sure to visit our website at cjdevgan.com. And if you like our show, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review for us on iTunes.